Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So a lot went on over the weekend in the world of track and field. At the CIF Southern Section Finals, male athlete AB Hernandez took first place in all three events: long jump, high jump and triple jump. That's three events stolen from a female athlete. Positions, places on the podium, stolen from a female athlete. But remember, the CIF has a policy in place that is supposed to fix everything, that is supposed to make sure that no female athlete is disenfranchised. And when the coaches entered the stadium, they were handed a letter explaining the policy, reminding them that this policy is in place. Apparently, they implement the policy as of when they choose. It is quite confusing because the policy isn't always in place, as we have seen in some of the recent events. So the letter said, under the pilot entry process, any cisgender female student athlete who would have earned the next qualifying mark for one of the CIF Southern Section's qualifying entries is extended an opportunity to participate in the next stage of qualifying for the 2026 CIF State Track and Field Championships. And Beth said, wow, imagine. CIF believing they are the good guys for extending an opportunity to any cisgender female student athlete, quotation marks, to compete in the next level, even though a boy placed ahead of them. All right, guys, so the images came out from the podium and people were absolutely appalled that female athletes are being forced to share a podium with a boy. That's what we're talking about here. A boy who has the option of competing in the boys' categories. And let me tell you something. I cannot believe the developments in this story, because it appears that the male athlete or the male athlete's mother and LGBTQ activists or TRAs, they are appalled themselves that this male athlete has been forced to share the podium with quote unquote cisgender girls. That's the recent development. I'm telling you, these people are never satisfied. They will not be satisfied until men replace women, until men redefine what a woman is. They will not be satisfied until their demands, their desires, their wants continue to take precedence over women's rights. Trans athlete AB Hernandez beat the field in the girls' long jump by over a foot. Officials split the first place podium in half to make the optics look fair. If you have to redesign the ceremony afterward, maybe the competition wasn't fair to begin with. So you can see this male athlete is well ahead of the females. So the podium was shared. They're both standing on the first place position of the podium together.
California transgender athlete sweeping multiple girls' track and field events at a regional final over the weekend, sparking controversy, with officials awarding extra gold medals to biological females who came in second place.
So apparently Hernandez was absent from the first ceremony, but later shared the top podium spot with Oak Park High School's Gwyneth Marika, and Hernandez was at the third ceremony, but co-champion Malaya Strange of Shadow Hills was absent. It is genuinely hard to believe how horribly female athletes are treated, and as someone who went through this as an adult, I am baffled that anyone would allow this to happen to teenage girls. This is a time in their life that they should be benefiting from the valuable lessons young athletes learn in leadership, teamwork, commitment, sacrifice. The list goes on. Every athlete I know has gained important life skills from sports. Many have had great opportunities from sports. Instead, these girls are currently being taught that they are not important enough to protect, and that a boy's feelings will always come first, no matter the harm it causes them. Enough is enough. Girls deserve better. If you have to create a shared podium for the boy competing in the girls' event, you've already admitted you know he isn't a girl and that his participation is unfair. At that point, you're just seeking a public humiliation ritual for the girls. Erica Kirk said Democrats claim to champion women's rights, yet they allow men to infiltrate women's spaces under the guise of identity politics. Then they gaslight anyone who questions it and smear women as transphobic for defending basic reality. The hypocrisy is astounding. God created men and women intentionally and in his image, each with a unique design and purpose. A society that can no longer recognize or honor the truth is not just losing fairness in sports, it is losing its understanding of God's creation and, with it, its humanity. And what the CIF is now brought upon itself is basically getting it from both sides. So even the trans activists are not happy about this because they know exactly what it represents.
When we see CIF having to create a shared podium and shared medals, they are absolutely admitting that this is a male athlete. Because if he was a girl, like they like to claim he is, then they wouldn't have to do this. They wouldn't have to add this in. This is an admittance to it, yet they're still doing nothing to follow Title IX and actually protect the girls.
When I read this headline, I was absolutely disgusted. The nerve of these people. They are never satisfied. Never. Girls have had their sports destroyed, while the CIF has bent over backwards to accommodate boys who want to be girls. They've bent over backwards to accommodate these people, and they are still not satisfied.
The mother of the transgender 17-year-old winner said this about this season, saying, I told AB, that's the name of her daughter, who used to be a boy, this is a midterm election year. They're going to hit us hard because they're using us for their campaigns. She has been doing this sport since freshman year of high school. She's not doing anything wrong. What's your reaction to that?
I do believe people need to vote for leaders that are going to protect girls, that are going to recognize that you can't change your sex, that girls deserve to have fair and safe sports and spaces. But at the end of the day, this isn't about an election. I'm standing for the female athletes. I'm standing with the girls like Reese and Olivia that are having to deal with this instead of just enjoying their senior year. I'm standing for the protection of female athletes. That is what it's about. It's that these girls deserve to have fair and safe sports.
Hernandez's mother shared a post from Rainbow Families Action criticising CIF officials. All these big tough ex-athletes at CIF, and the most courage they could muster was to hand this to coaches at AB's meet today. Not one of them was brave enough to look her or her mother in the eye and say, this whole project of violating Ed Code is aimed at you, a child. So this Rainbow Families Action believes that this is violating the education code, bending over backwards to accommodate a boy in a girls' competition, when really they should be concerned about the female athletes having their rights trampled upon, who are also children, by the way, teenage girls who have spoken up and made it very clear that they don't consent to this, who don't want to share their sports with boys, who don't want to share locker rooms with boys. These are teenage girls being put through this.
Women deserve to have their own space, their own locker room, their own divisions, and we work too hard for that to be just taken away without anyone saying anything about it.
It's just really disappointing to go into a competition knowing that you're already going to be beat by a male. So given that opportunity to have a fair competition is something that we've been fighting for, and I think that we should have.
The category that Hernandez is competing in belongs to the girls, belongs to the female athletes. And the nerve of these activists to say that this boy is being forced to share the podium when it isn't even his category shows you where the girls fall on the list of their priorities. They couldn't care less about girls. They couldn't care less about female athletes and their rights. They don't care about consent, the consent of these female athletes. It is sick. They think the category belongs to boys whenever they choose to enter into that category, and they give no thought to how it affects the female athletes. They don't care. And it's very, very disturbing, and it shows you what these girls are up against. So the CIF is getting what it deserves. They are feeling it from both sides now. And I think it's obvious that this policy simply isn't going to work. What their policy should be is that everybody competes in the correct category. Their policy needs to prioritise biological sex. That is the only way to ensure fairness for all athletes. Anything short of that is only going to continue to discriminate against girls and go against Title IX. And is it any wonder that the Department of Education is investigating California? It's violating Title IX. The state is discriminating against girls and pushing them further and further behind in their own sports.
Yeah, and you know, the father of a biological female runner reacted to the New York Post saying, "My daughter shouldn't be the one waging this fight." He's wondering where the adults are in the room. He said, where are the adults here fighting for these young girls? We're talking about teenagers here. And when I look at the podium, I wonder what it would feel like to be the biological female runner sharing that podium saying it should just be me at the top spot. I don't know if this ever happened to you or if you know anybody who went through this, but what do you think it feels like to be a biological female sharing that top podium?
It has to be absolutely heartbreaking and debilitating. I've talked with so many of these girls. These girls deserve to have that first place spot, that second place spot without losing it to a male. We saw last year Reese Hogan. She came in first, but it was stolen by a male athlete. And the second he stood off the podium, she got onto the first place podium because that was her rightful spot. So to continue to watch this, and that father is absolutely right. And the state of California needs to stop acting like they're their own nation, and they need to do what's right and protect the girls in California.
So I'm glad these people continue to reveal themselves, these activists. They continue to reveal exactly who they are. They continue to reveal how dismissive they are of the rights of women and girls. And they're willing to throw girls under the bus to protect their ideology. Their ideology comes first, before allowing girls to have their own sports. So let me know what you think of this appalling response to the CIF's policy, which was designed to put the boy first, yet they are still not satisfied. So thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video. And a huge thank you to all of those who have hyped my videos. It is greatly appreciated.